Hello BookTube and AuthorTube. I have a writing update. So I started the revision process of Akkarzha the Sorcerer, which is the title I finally settled on for the NaNoWriMo project that has plagued me for months. So I started the revision process. What I did was I took what I had written for NaNoWriMo and was slowly rewriting it, editing it to reflect changes I've since made to the story and stuff. But over the past few days, I've steadily become more and more frustrated with the project. Part of it is I am still having issues with my writing programs. I have two on my computer, OpenOffice and LibreOffice, and I also have Google Docs. So OpenOffice will come on immediately, but will only stay open for an hour or two before it stops responding, and you have to force close it, and when you reselect it, it will make you recover the uh, document, and it's rather frustrating. And then with LibreOffice, it takes about an hour to actually load, and I have no idea why it does that. So that's kind of been frustrating. Although once it does finally load up, you can basically select other documents using LibreOffice, and they will pop up with no problem. So yeah. So I was thinking, okay, maybe I should switch to a different writing program, and that got me onto Google Docs because I use Google Chrome. Yeah, it should be easy, and I have a Google Drive as a storage space. So I kind of was working on that, and on the whole, I rather like it. But I try to edit Akkarzha the Sorcerer through Google Docs, and I was frustrated beyond belief. It just was the document was laggy, and it didn't quite work for me. And kind of that coupled with the fact that I became more and more displeased with the work, that I was frustrated. I want to move on. I'm tired of this project and I'm going to go do something else. So it's just like a very frustrating beginning to my writing week. And then last night, while I was trying to do some revisions, I'm kind of like, well, part of the problem is I'm trying to work on a corpse of a story, and maybe it's too littered, it's too cluttered, and I need to really start a new folder with the project name and really start a new character sheet with the new names of the characters, maybe a new idea sheet, a new outline, and just really start from essentially scratch. Have the same basic plot points and ideas and stuff, but really just restate everything more coherently. And from there, it snowballed new ideas, other ways of looking at the project, because I was still struggling, and I'm still struggling with the beginning, and I think I solved that problem, and so much I think is working a lot better. So let me talk about that for a little bit. So I finally hit on a title. As you know, I've struggled with that since basically the start of NaNoWriMo. And then last week or so, I hit on Akkarzha the Sorcerer. I keep saying Akkarzha, and it's Akkarzha. There's another character I created a while ago called Akkarzha, and I just added, instead of 2 T's, it's 2 K's, and yeah, I keep slipping my mind, but it's Akkarzha. So the project is Akkarzha the Sorcerer, and I was still very much struggling with an opening. So I had like 3 ideas for an opening. One was basically start a few days before like the first big action point. Give so this would basically world build, character build, introduce Akkarzha, his fellow students, his teacher, before he gets thrust into the adventure. And then the second one would be basically start at the inciting incident. That Akkarzha is performing a spell, and during the spell he discovers that his teacher is being assaulted, attacked, and things progress from there. And then another option would be just cut that whole part out and start with him arriving in the city. And I still struggled with which opening I liked the best. And then kind of struggling with, should I write this as a novel or as a short story? And basically with the short story or novella, go with like say Akkarzha the Sorcerer, Uizi the Rogue or Mercenary, Nakura the Queen, so on and so forth. And just like a character and their position in society or occupation, and sort of do short stories around that. But I also last night hit upon, well, if Akkarzha starts off as an apprentice, well, there's like, it could be Akkarzha the Sorcerer, Part 1, The Apprentice, Part 2, The Journeyman, and Part 3, The Master. And that kind of got me interested into, okay, so like an adventure when Akkarzha's an apprentice, and then an adventure when he's basically in that wandering stage between an apprentice and a master, and then sort of that final achievement of status when he's a master of his craft. And I kind of like that. I do need to do some more idea work and thinking about that, but I really do like that, and I think it wouldn't be that difficult to basically what I have already, change a few things, and I think it would work wonderfully. But we shall see. I'm going to sort of do a bit more idea work today and tomorrow if I have time, and then hopefully I can get to work on rewriting the project and starting fresh, I guess, on Monday, which is kind of upsetting because I wanted it to start like at the beginning of the month, but yeah, it is what it is. So yeah, and then kind of last night before I went to bed, I sort of started debating with myself, because I think part of the problem I'm having with Akkarzha the Sorcerer and other projects I want to do is that the protagonists are all incredibly similar. Akkarzha, Scorpius, Zazaril, Freddy, that I want to write a story like with a gay protagonist. And I know I've talked about this a few times in these videos, and I always feel like I'm kind of doing contortions to not actually speak as openly as I want to. I don't know if it's just I'm naturally reticent or, yeah, what my issue is, but I'm going to try to be a bit more open with this. So there are these 4 characters. So I want to write an epic fantasy with a gay protagonist. The only problem is, like, what project should that be? Particularly if I want this to be something that I am, super passionate about, super into, super absolutely loving the writing of this. And so I kind of basically, it's like a lot of the project ideas that I come up with tend to have that protagonist character, wanting to be the star of the show or star of the story. And I'm afraid it'll be a bit too samey that it's like a one-note protagonist. Even though fantasy could use with more queer male protagonists. So, yeah. So, I could theoretically, so what if I have, like, so far all of my main protagonists, except for maybe the contemporary magic project, having gay male protagonists, or all of my projects. What's really a problem with that, except my own not wanting to repeat myself, or really, each project be different than what it has been. And then that's something I do need to work out. But thinking about it last night, I'm like, well, what if I made all 4 of these characters different? Or, in some cases, combine projects. Obviously, Zazariel and Scorpius have been merging and demerging, and sort of as the Fates of Chaos and Scorpius, the superhero project, have been kind of being, like, merged together and separating into 2 separate projects, and so on and so forth. They could, and then do, like, 3 different characters. They're all similar in the superficial way, but each is their own character. And I think that's something I really need to focus on and to really emphasize. But, obviously a lot of these projects are down the pike. I do want to work on this part of Akkarzha the Sorcerer, see what I make of it, how I like it, if I want to perhaps maybe polish it enough and try to see it published, or basically trunk it and move on to another project. But I think that is something I will be looking into for next week. And I might also have a few other topics next week. So we'll see how things settle and land over the next few days and into next week. And I will be back next week with a writing update. So until then, have a great day. One more thing before I let you go, though. I'm obviously a bit brighter today. I've changed the lighting in my room a little bit. When I do book hauls and wrap-ups and reviews, I normally have my bedroom, or the lamp on my bed on, because that does a better job of illuminating the books rather than the one light bulb in my ceiling fan which kind of was a bit weird lighting. But I finally found some light bulbs that actually fit the ceiling fan. They're very small light bulbs, and we've had difficulty finding bulbs that fit. So I finally found some. So it's a full complement, and I think it makes my room significantly brighter and better looking. But let me know down in the comments what you think. And now I will let you go. Have a great day, BookTube and AuthorTube.